What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Regionals is just around the corner here in Southern California, here in Los Angeles. And to be honest, I am extremely excited. I always get pretty excited for these big tournaments. I really do like playing in them. I'm really trying to get my invite very early in the season, so that way I could kind of coast up, focus on other things. And that'll allow me to see the meta kind of from a bird's eye instead of constantly just being focused on it. So if you like what we do here, please feel free to like, subscribe. If not, it is all cool. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, like once we get there, I do plan a big giveaway with TCG player gift cards, and a special turn, maybe some more giveaways, so hopefully try to get us there. That would be really helpful. And I want to start this list of the bestial monsters. Specifically, the ones I'm talking about are Magnemite, Druiswurm, and Baldrake. I guess Baldrake would be the weakest one. If you're looking for a budget option, I would very much go Baldrake. But right now, I see Tearlament as a tier 1.5 / maybe tier 2 Dark Horse Rogue style deck. I understand there's some people that say it's not a challenge. Some people just can't stand it. I'm one of the people who really can't stand it. I really have a hard time, especially with the kind of decks that I play. I'm not always playing like tier 1. I don't really play. I don't very rarely play meta. So a lot of the time the deck like Tearlaments, even though it doesn't have that much, if it's able to get going, it just completely just takes over the game, especially depending on the deck that I'm running. So I am going to be trying to run 3 bestial monsters as hand traps. So that'll be Magnemite, Druiswurm, and Baldrake. I might end up just going double Druiswurm and one Magnemite, because that's just probably the more optimal way to play it. But to be honest, I've been going back and forth experimenting with the effect of Baldrake to be able to interrupt on your opponent's turn as well, even though it's just better just to have the Druiswurm. So with all out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the list. Ghost and Snow Rabbit is also, I mentioned these are also going to be listed from the least likely for me to have in my side deck to the most likely that I'm going to have in my side deck. Kind of like they're going to get stronger and stronger as I go on. So Ghost Orc Snorabbit originally to me I thought was going to be a really good key hand trap. Not saying that it's not good, because there are a lot of decks that have field spells, and just the fact that you have like a lot of field spells that have like these extra effects, you do have the Centurion monsters, and those are also different things that you're able to hit. You want to be able to stop their field spell, and also potentially stop their monsters with it. Being able to get rid of the materials so they can't go into it. But that's really kind of like a different story. There's a lot of just better options that I kind of feel. I did try it in a couple locals, although a local settings isn't like the end all be all of is it a really good card. It just didn't come up for me as much as I wanted to. But at the same time, if you're kind of looking for that extra little niche hand trap to catch people off guard, Ghost Orc or Snorabbit is a perfect option, because even though I wasn't really able to get a lot of use out of it, something not a lot of people are expecting the Ghost Ogre, and I actually now I'm thinking about it, I was able to resolve this against a Runic Plunder Patrol player, and that just completely kind of killed everything, because they were kind of relying on the fountain to get the draw, and they were just not expecting the Ghost Ogre to be dropped from the hand. So the fact that you have Runic and a lot of other stuff kind of around, Ghost Ogre could be a cool card to have, as a little tech choice. Spellbound. Now Spellbound, I was really excited. It was a couple of days ago, probably maybe about a little over a week ago, when I was like, man, Spellbound could be amazing, and I'll just kind of go over all the different applications, stopping the Centurion monsters from being able to synchroing, being able to stop, being a good counter to Floowandereeze, because to be honest, that's kind of still what I'm leaning towards. If I'm gonna run this, it is gonna be, yeah, I'm gonna have it for Centurion, maybe a couple other niche interactions, but to be honest, I really do like it against Floowandereeze, because it really doesn't go in first or second. It stops them from essentially doing what they're trying to do, because unless they're able to summon more monsters, if you're able to answer the monsters, they can't use any of the ones that they have on the field for for tribute summoning. So you'll be able to control the board more and be able to stop them from being able to use the Dreaming Town, the Graveyard, puts them down. You'll be able to especially because the deck is telegraphed like a little bit, because you know, like you kind of tell, you know, obviously because like it summons on resolution, so you can make sure you're activating Spellbound in a moment where you know that these are the cards that are gonna, you know, like use a tribute. So it does have a really good matchup against Floowandereeze. It is good against the Centurion to stop them from synchro summoning. And also there's, like I said, a lot of niche applications. Like if you just don't, if you know that you lose to Typhon and they summon a monster, just you could just, you know, activate it to stop them from summoning like the Typhon. They start answering everything else and just make sure that's the only monster they have on the field, so that way they're not able to use it for a Typhon. There, you know, there's a lot of, you know, like there's a lot of really cool interactions. Although this is kind of like the second weakest card though, just because like the other three cards that I'm gonna mention are just, you know, are inherently just like inherently way stronger. You know, well, it's just inherently way stronger, a little more generic too. Twin Twister is number 3 on this list. To be honest, like I was thinking about Twin Twister a while ago. Like the second Centurion put themselves in the spell and trap card zone, and I kind of saw how they play. I was like, Twin Twister would be kind of cool, especially for like graveyard decks. But you know, I mean, I was like, you know, that's really, you know, like there's not like a lot of there's not like a lot of like hardcore graveyard decks. But at the same time, you know, there is Centurion Horus, there's Horus variants period, there's Tear Elements. There's actually a lot of stuff that kind of that wouldn't mind kind of throwing things in the grave, or could afford to throw things in the graveyard. So Twin Twister kind of like being there is something else that'll kind of catch them off guard. Similar to running Ghost Ogre, people are just not expecting, like, you know, like they're just really not expecting this kind of like quick effect destruction. You know, it's, especially if it's gonna be like that you have to interact with them. You know, because, you know, like it isn't like a lot of people are just randomly playing MST, and also Cosmic Cyclone has kind of fallen off a little bit, so it isn't like everyone just has Cosmic Cyclone in their sides, or, you know, some in the main, but mostly just has it in the side. To be honest, a lot of people are using Lightning Storm, which is like spell speed 1 removal, and the spell speed 1 removal, you know, like when you're running, you know, you're running the back row cards, you're not really worried about them chaining to anything. So to be honest, Twin Twister, you know, the same vein as Ghost Ogre, catching them off guard with some quick effect destruction could be something that, you know, that's just enough to put you in a good position. So Twin Twister, I really like it too, because it's also good against all the back row decks. You're gonna have Labyrinth and Trap Trick, a lot of other stuff that you just want to make sure you get rid of the back row. Centurion runs a lot of back row too, so being able to, like, you know, like get rid of the Primera and then get rid of like a random back row, knowing that it might be a Solemn, could be a really big hit, and that'd be more than enough to push for game. Forbidden Droplet. Now Forbidden Droplet right here, mainly I have it here for like Centurion, but it's also here because it's just generically a good card. I was kind of thinking that, like, man, like there's so many things you could use like against Centurion, because I was playing against Centurion, and I had like the easy, not the easy win, but like I had the way to win. I'm like, okay, this is all I gotta do is this. Should be easy. But then, you know, at the end of the whole combo, I got through everything. I grinded out, and they had the Solemn. And then it just made me think, like, and then that's what I was talking to my friend who talked about how small the engine is, and I'm like, you know, yeah, you're right. They could just run so many things that, you know, like it really, you know, like you have to expect anything with that deck. So with that in mind, I was thinking, like, you know, if you're able to like activate Forbidden Droplets, and if you are running traps, like, you know, a lot of people are running Evenly Match, a lot of people are running you know, like just like the random traps that are already naturally like in your deck. You also have Infinite Impermanence, so like, you know, those are, so like there are traps in the meta. There is a way for you to be able to, like, you know, activate the Forbidden Droplets to negate, you know, like to negate the effect of the Crimson Dragon, and then if you send a trap card, they won't be able, you know, to stop it, to make sure that they can't Calamity on your turn. And then just, you know, and besides that, like small interaction, if you're playing like, you know, like Floowandereeze, and you just gotta get over the M pen, you know, this like Forbidden Droplets is like, you know, like really, you know, like really good, is like stop all that. You know, just I don't know, I don't want to go like a whole rant on how generic Forbidden Droplet is. I don't want to be like, and you could use it to negate this. Yeah, no, yeah. Obviously, just, you know, generically with a lot of like, you know, like you have a lot of like spam decks. You have Infernobles. If you're able to, like, you know, get around the Angelica, if they go full combo, Droplet is like a really good card to have in my happy get in. So I'm really liking Droplet as like a side deck card, not a main deck card, but a good side deck option. And then the last card that I want to talk about is Super Polymerization. I was running this card like pretty much since SP Little Knight came out. I was like, okay, how do you get around this? And, you know, after kind of thinking about it and watching the videos, it's like, okay, well, it's Super Poly. Super Poly is one of the best removals for SP Little Knight, pretty much because like Little Knight could like chain out of pretty much anything. you know, and like, you know, Super Poly just says no. On top of that, a lot of people play into a lot of good Super Poly targets, like, you know, like you have the Gilfried at the end with the Barone and the Knight, but like, you know, and then you could also cheese out the other fusion, the dragon. I forgot what it's called. It has like a weird name, but it's like a warrior. It's like, I think it's like a war. Is it a warrior? It might be a warrior and a synchro dragon. I might be thinking of that. I might be thinking of that one differently. But either way, no matter what kind of, since actually one of the main points, you know, besides, you know, that one specific point, the main kind of point I'm trying to say about super polymerization is it doesn't matter how they run SP Little Knight. They are like about 90% of the time they're going to put themselves in a position where they could be hit with super polymerization. It isn't be all the time. There are certain players that do their combos and they understand that they need to end this way to not get super polyed, but at the same time there's also a lot of different a lot of different super poly targets. So, you know, so it's going to be very, so I guess the way I'm seeing it is, if you choose the right amount of targets, or like just the right ones, and you know, and you kind of know like what are the more stronger endings with SP Little Knight, super polymerization is just such a blowout card. And it doesn't matter if it's in time, doesn't matter like really what situation, the battle phase, main phase, it is really a really good card, and you really want to have some like super poly, especially if you're trying to go play in like the long kind of regional style tournaments, or even just in locals. You know, someone, they bring the SP Little Knight and you know it's hard to deal with, hey, super poly for the win. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about some of these techs. You know, like I understand, like I said, it's very much like my opinion, but like, like let me know if you might try to run these, or let me know if you have some other ideas, some cards. Another card I wanted to put on this list is Book of Eclipse. That's another card that I kind of been going back and forth. Also, enemy controller. But yeah, at the end of the day, these are the cards that I was really focusing on, and these are the ones that I want to share with you guys. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Peace out, and I'll catch you in the next one.